Oh man, Overwatch has never been more exciting. It's really heating up because the Overwatch League is kicking off in just a couple weeks. The preseason was a couple weeks ago, and we already did one episode on that. Let's do one more episode just before the season starts so we can get one last taste of what these teams are doing, how they perform, before we get into the real season. This one's between Shanghai Dragons and Boston Uprising. Let's check this one out. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing fine. My name is Skyline, and welcome to episode 2 of the Overwatch Team Fight Spotlight series, where we take the best, top, most interesting fights of professional Overwatch play, and we break them down so you can understand and maybe even implement it into some of your own games. So, here we go. This is Snow, our all-star, our Ana player for the Boston Uprising. They're playing defense here on Numbani. We can see the clock's already been run down to about 2 minutes, so they're doing pretty well. They only need a couple more team fights to win. We can see that the ultimates are pretty relatively even going into this fight. This is an interesting position for Ana. If we take a look at Numbani real quick, now you can put your Ana here. It's maybe not as 100% normal as it could be. Generally, we see Anas over here or over here. This is like the somewhat less safe version, but stronger, and I'll show you why in a second. And this is the slightly more safe version, but a bit weaker. So the reason why this is a little bit less safe is because, well, you have a straight sight line here. A straight sight line from the attackers, a straight sight line from the attackers. Plus you can be dived pretty easily. I mean, you can run away, but it's not super dangerous, but it's more dangerous. However, on the upside, you can see everything. Look, you clearly can see everything on the entire map, the entire point, all over here, all over here. So this is arguably the strongest spot for Ana on the entire map here in the first point. It's just maybe slightly dangerous. Over here is the second spot, and this has the added benefit of being safer. You can see there are no sight lines directly drawn from the attackers. They're all down here, and they're all over here in this doorway, right? Now, you could still be dove theoretically, but generally you'll have teammates up here with you, at least 2 teammates, and you actually have escape routes. You can jump down this direction, you can jump down this direction, you can come over here, you can come up the stairs, right? So this is the safer, but a little bit less effective because, like I said, there are less sight lines to you. That means that there are also less sight lines for you looking away. I mean, you need to come out pretty far to be able to look onto the point, but this is the second area you generally might see Ana's play on Numbani, but Snow here is playing this third area. This is maybe the hyper safest one. It's very difficult to dive back here, but it's also the most restricted in that you need to have your entire team only playing down this one lane, because you have no access to the rest of the point unless you really walk up very far. All right, so enough of that. Let's go back to the fight. Here is Snow, like I said again. Remember, the Ana player. He's in this position, and if we take a look at the rest of the team, they're doing it, right? They're staying in this line. We have a Vast here. That is the Mercy player. We have the D.Va as well. We'll see that Winston will stay along this general lane as well. So everyone's trying to stay in line of Snow, at least the people who Snow wants to heal. Striker's not going to be healed. Dream Casper is going to have a Vast on him, right? So we'll pay attention to this. And also note, they're trying to dive him. Look, take a look at the Shanghai Dragons now. They're in the white. We have their D.Va and their Winston. They need to go way, way, way back to try to find Snow. There's a bit of an issue here for Boston, because like I said, remember, it's hard to dive Snow, but a Vast is here too. And this is the real problem. So normally Ana is pretty good back here if you play with her, like I said, along this lane. But now that the Mercy's back here as well, their supports will live. Look at that, okay? So Roshan and MG72, the tank players, they'll run away, they'll leave. But now our 2 supports are way, way, way away. And now all 6 members of Shanghai Dragons can easily access the point against a team that basically has no supports right now. Snow and Avast are out of the fight. This is absolutely catastrophic, and you see, in order to try to salvage it, Avast has to fly all the way up. He has to fly straight through all of the dragons, all the Shanghai Dragons, to try to deal with the soldier. As a result, the Winston winds up hopping on her, and Snow misses a critical shot to potentially save the Mercy. There's the Winston shield there as well. Speaking of Winston, Gamsu, the Winston player for Boston, goes down as well because he had no healing. So overall, you could see, first of all, a really great leap by the tanks of the Shanghai Dragons to initiate the fight and to isolate the supports, but also Avast letting himself get isolated. But here is, so we went over the Boston Uprising's mistakes and the Shanghai Dragons' good plays. Now we're going to reverse it, okay? It's going to be the Boston Uprising making some good plays and Shanghai Dragons not so much. Now, take a look at the ultimates here. We have two of the biggest comeback ultimates in the game. That is Winston's Primal Rage and Mercy's Guardian Angel. Also important to note, Casper did not ult last fight. Okay? So you can't obviously see your enemy's teamfight ult percentages, but he didn't ult last fight. Good to know. Meanwhile, the Dragons don't have much. You know, they have Transcendence, they have Undead's Pulse Bomb, but they don't really have too much of a punch to pack here in this next fight. And notice how lax they're being. Look how far back they're standing. They sort of thought that they won the fight before they did. Notice that Dia is not in a proper position either. He could have gotten onto the high ground, and here, that's key. Crucial. Gamsu gets away. So notice he jumped onto the point to stall, and now he gets away with no health. But there's a big health pack over there that he'll be getting, so you can see his health rocket back up. So now we have two tanks on the point. Striker kills Dia because Dia is not on the high ground or in a good position. He was just sort of in the standard generic position that he found himself in. And now Uprising comes in and kills everyone on the back of the Mercy ultimate, on the back of Gamsu's Primal Rage, and Shanghai Dragons lose. All right, so let's take a look at this fight one more time, all the way through without pausing. Avast jumps in because he was so isolated. He winds up getting taken out as a result, and so does Gamsu, the Winston player. And at this point, Dragons have pretty much won the fight, right? We have Snow way back here, but notice that Snow is still alive. And what the Shanghai Dragons are doing, right? They're not really getting into any post positions to try to defend. They're not playing up. We have Dia, who's just sort of looking somewhere at the wall or something. And now it's very easy for the Uprising to come in. There just wasn't, you know, the Dragons really had thought that they won before they actually won the fight. And I think this really demonstrates not only the genius of how the Dragons took the point to begin with, but also the sort of downfall of how you need to be very careful, especially when you're dealing with a Mercy in the meta with an ultimate as strong as Guardian Angel. And of course, Winston with an ultimate as strong of a comeback potential as Primal Rage. On Numbani, I'm sure you've had these sort of tragedies happen before. It's very easy to lose the second point of Numbani because the positions you naturally find yourself in after taking the point are awful. So the two takeaway points from that fight are, first of all, if you're a support player, don't let yourself get isolated. If you're the primary support like Mercy, don't go and hang out with your secondary support like Ana or Zenyatta. It's very easily done for the other team to cut both of you off from the fight. Try to spread the supports out so that it's much harder for the enemy to really pinch you into one position. And second, when you take the point is down here. And this is a really bad position. You should, as soon as possible, try to get into good post, I guess if this is Counter-Strike, it'd be like post-plant positions, right? Try to get your soldier up here, your Ana up here, your Tracer forward, up, your tanks, like your Diva and your Winston, up here. Numbani doesn't have to be a hard point, or an easy point, I guess, to retake as the defenders. You can hold this very easily. Once you take the point, you should be able to hold it easily as an attacker. You just need to be careful and not let yourself fall into the trap of just like, oh, we took the point. Let's just sort of stay down here. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you find a cool fight or a cool game that you want me to break down. Go ahead and leave it down below. Let me know what you think. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. We'll be back when the Overwatch League kicks off with plenty of episodes and plenty of content. My name's Skyline, and this has been me in the Tempo Storm channel. Never forget to stay positive, and have a great day. Until next time.
Right onto point B for me, and watch the justice unfurl. Hey, their mercy, come up to the skies tonight.